Why are you here? No, don't give me the surface answer. Don't tell me you just clicked a link because an algorithm put it in front of you. I want you to answer that question in the deafening silence of your own mind, that place where all the excuses and all the noise can't hide. Why are you here? Let me guess. Is it because you're tired? Not just tired from a lack of sleep. I'm talking about a deep, soul-level exhaustion. The kind of tired that comes from waking up every Monday with that familiar dread in the pit of your stomach. That feeling that you're running a race you can't win on a treadmill that's bolted to the floor, leading to absolutely nowhere. You trade the best hours of your day, your focus, your creativity, your life force. You trade the best years of your life for a paycheck that feels more like a leash that just barely lets you afford the bills for a life that feels like a black and white photograph of the masterpiece you once dreamed of. You see them, don't you? Of course you do. They're everywhere, hiding in plain sight. The people living in a different reality. The ones stepping out of black cars, not worried about the parking ticket. The ones who don't turn an item over to look at the price tag. The ones whose lives seem to operate on a different frequency, a higher plane of existence. And you've been fed a story about them, haven't you? A convenient story spoon-fed to you from the moment you were born. A story that they are lucky, that they were born into it, that they cheated the system. And that story is the most dangerous lie you've ever been told. It's a comfortable lie. It's a warm blanket woven from excuses that keeps you safe and shivering in the cold, hard reality of mediocrity. It's the lie they want you to believe. Because as long as you believe you're a victim of circumstance, you will never, ever find the strength to become the master of your destiny. As long as you are pointing a finger at them, you have 3 fingers pointing right back at the person in the mirror. Today, right now, in this moment, that lie dies. Today, we don't just pull back the curtain, we tear the whole damn theater down. Because wealth isn't about luck. It's not about your inheritance. And it's sure as hell not about what college you went to. Wealth is a system. It's a language. It's a set of rules to a brutal game that you've been forced to play your entire life without ever being told how to win. They don't want you to know these rules. Why? Do you really need to ask? The entire modern world is a pyramid. And it's built on a foundation of your compliance. It thrives on your ignorance. It's fueled by your quiet, polite desperation. They need you in the cubicle, staring at the screen. They need you on the factory line, doing the repetitive task. They need you distracted by the digital circus on your phone while they rewrite the laws of the world in their favor. But right now, you have a choice, a real one. You can click away. You can go back to the noise, back to the scrolling, back to being a well-behaved pawn in their game. Or you can stay. You can listen. You can learn the rules they pray to God you never discover. You can begin the painful, brutal, beautiful process of forging yourself not into a pawn, not into a knight, but into a king. I'm about to give you the keys to the kingdom. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. Those are the traps they set for the desperate. This is a get-powerful-forever blueprint. This is the fire you've been searching for. But understand me, I am just handing you the match. You have to have the guts to strike it against the stone of your own inaction and hold it until your old life burns to the ground. So, I will ask you one last time, why are you here? If you're here to win, then listen up. If you're here to transform, then open your mind. If you're here to finally seize the life that you know deep down you were born to live, then the revolution starts now. The war begins today. And the first step in any war is to understand the terrain. You have to see the cage before you can ever hope to break out of it. And the first bar of that cage, the very foundation of your financial prison, was forged with a single simple idea they taught you from birth. It's the idea that you are for sale. That your life, your precious, unrenewable, magnificent life, can be bought by the hour. You've been programmed with a poison, a toxin so subtle you thought it was the truth. Go to school, get good grades, get a safe, secure job, climb the corporate ladder, work for 40 or 50 years, and then maybe, if you're lucky, you can retire and enjoy the sunset years of your life. This is the gospel of the middle class, and it is the single greatest, most effective trap ever devised by one group of humans to control another. It teaches you one thing, and it teaches it so well that you never question it. Your time is worth an hourly wage. You are taught to sell your life in 60-minute chunks. You stand there and you trade your irreplaceable, finite, God-given time for paper, for digital numbers on a screen. And the rich, they don't just laugh all the way to the bank. They own the bank. And they own it because while you're trading your time for money, they are busy buying assets that make money for them while they sleep. Read that again. Let it sink into your bones. While you are trading your life for money, they are buying assets that make money for them while they sleep. The system doesn't want you to understand the profound difference in that statement. It wants you to be a good little employee, a reliable cog in the machine. It wants you to believe that the only way to earn more is to work more, to beg for overtime, to get a second job, to start a side hustle where you're still trading your time. You aren't escaping the wheel, you're just running faster, panting harder, sweating more, but the scenery never ever changes. I need you to get angry about this. I need you to feel the deep personal insult of it. Every hour you spend building someone else's dream is an hour you're not building your own. Every drop of your sweat that falls on their factory floor is a drop that could be watering the seeds of your own empire. So what do? You're sitting there thinking, I have to pay my bills. I have to eat. I get it. This isn't about quitting your job tomorrow with no plan. That's foolishness. That's a child's fantasy. This is about a revolution in your mind, a coup d'etat against the tyranny of your old programming. From this day forward, your new mantra is this, and you will repeat it until it is tattooed on your soul. I no longer work for money. Money works for me. Say it. Feel the power in it. Let it burn away the weakness. This is your declaration of independence. From this moment on, every dollar that passes through your hands is a soldier. You are its general, and you must give every single soldier a mission. When you're about to buy that overpriced coffee, you stop and you ask your soldier, what is your mission? Is your mission to provide 5 minutes of caffeinated pleasure? Is your mission to buy another cheap distraction, another piece of plastic junk from a mega corporation? Or is your mission to go out onto the battlefield of the economy to capture enemy prisoners, more dollars, and bring them back to your army, making it stronger, bigger, and more powerful? This is the game, and you've been playing it on the wrong side of the board your entire life. They don't want you to know that $1 sitting in a savings account is a dying soldier eaten away by the cancer of inflation. But $1 invested in an asset is a seed that grows into a tree that drops more seeds. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket month after month without you having to trade your time for it. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. It is that brutally simple. The poor and middle class spend their lives buying liabilities they've been tricked into thinking are assets. The new car, the bigger TV, the brand name clothes. They are building a prison of payments. The rich do one thing and one thing only. They buy assets, stocks that pay dividends, real estate that generates rent, a business that runs on a system, intellectual property that pays royalties. But I don't have money to invest. I can hear you whining already. Stop it. That is the slave mentality talking. I don't care if you start with $5. I don't care if you have to cancel your streaming subscriptions and eat ramen for 6 months to scrape together your first $100 investment. The temporary pain of that sacrifice is a grain of sand compared to the mountain of regret you will feel at age 65 when you're out of time, out of energy, and you're still a slave to the dollar, praying that your government pension doesn't run out before you do. This is your first war. The war against your own consumption. You must become ruthless. You must become a financial warrior. You must track every dollar. You must analyze every expense. Is this a weapon for my freedom, or is this another link in the chain of my enslavement? There is no middle ground. Stop obsessing over your hourly wage. Who gives a damn? Start obsessing over your freedom number. The exact amount of monthly cash flow from your assets that you need to cover all your living expenses. That is your new North Star. That is the mountain you must conquer. Every asset you buy, every dollar soldier you deploy gets you one step closer to the peak where you can finally breathe the air of freedom. They want you to dream about a bigger paycheck so you can buy more liabilities. I want you to dream about a bigger portfolio of cash flowing assets so you can buy back your life. Don't you see? They need you to believe that your time is a commodity, but your time is your life. And it's time you stop selling it so damn cheap. This is the first law of the universe for those who want to be free. Money is a tool. It is a servant. And from this day forward, you will be its absolute unquestioned master, period. But just knowing this isn't enough, is it? Just knowing the mechanics of the trap doesn't magically set you free. Because as you hear this, another voice speaks up, a voice of doubt, a voice of fear, a voice that says, that's for other people, that's not for you. And that brings us to the real battlefield. Because the most secure prison isn't made of steel bars and concrete walls. It's made of faulty beliefs and limiting thoughts. The real war is the one that rages between your own ears. You think the biggest obstacle between you and wealth is your bank account. You think it's the system, your boss, your education, or the economy. You are dead wrong. The single biggest obstacle, the final boss, the great titan that stands between you and everything you've ever wanted is the 6 inches of space between your ears. It's the battlefield of your own mind. And right now, for most of you, it is enemy-occupied territory. You are losing a war you didn't even know you were fighting. The rich understand this better than anything else. This is their core secret. They know that your mindset is the operating system that runs your entire life. And most people are running their lives on faulty, outdated, virus-ridden software. Let's call it Scarcity OS. You were born into it. You were raised in it. Every time a parent said money doesn't grow on trees, every time you heard we can't afford that, every time a cynical friend said the rich just get richer and the poor get poorer. These aren't just phrases. They are lines of malicious code being downloaded directly into your subconscious, programming you for failure. They build a prison in your mind, and the bars are invisible, so you never even try to escape. Every time you think to yourself, I can't do that, the walls get thicker. Every time you say, it's too risky, what if I fail, the ceiling gets lower. Every single time you feel a pang of envy or resentment instead of a surge of inspiration when you see someone else's success, you lock the door from the inside and swallow the key. This is the dirtiest secret they have. They don't need to build external prisons for you when your own mind does the job with ruthless efficiency and for free. They keep you poor by keeping your thoughts poor. They keep you weak by keeping your beliefs weak. So how do you break out? How do you stage this jailbreak? You go to war. You declare a bloody, merciless, no prisoners taken war on every single limiting belief that has taken up residence in your soul. From this moment forward, you are the gatekeeper of your mind. You are the grizzled, battle-hardened sentinel standing guard at the city gates. You must inspect every single thought that tries to enter. You must hold it up to the light and demand to know its purpose. Is this thought a soldier for my victory, or is it a spy programming my defeat? When that slimy, whispering voice in the back of your head says, you're not smart enough for this, you don't just ignore it. You grab it by the throat, you look it in the eye, and you scream back, I am a relentless learning machine. I will acquire any skill. I will read any book. I will master any subject I need to in order to win. When that cold feeling of fear creeps into your stomach and says, but what if you fail? What if you lose everything? You stand your ground and you say, failure is my fuel. Failure is my teacher. Failure is the fire that forges me into a weapon. I am not afraid to fail. I am terrified of looking back on my life and realizing I was too much of a coward to even try. This is not about positive thinking and affirmations in the mirror. That's child's play. This is about mental combat. It's about training your mind like a Spartan warrior trains his body for battle. You do it every single day without fail. And that means you have to control your diet. Your mental diet. What are you feeding your mind? Are you sitting there for hours every night, doom scrolling through social media, feeding your mind a constant stream of fear, comparison, envy, and useless garbage? Or are you feeding it power? Are you reading the books written by billionaires and stoic philosophers? Are you listening to podcasts from people who have built empires from nothing? Are you studying the biographies of the greatest warriors, artists, innovators, and entrepreneurs in human history? The rich curate their mental diet with the obsessive precision of an Olympic athlete. They understand that what you feed your mind directly creates the quality of your life. They starve their fear and they feed their ambition. You have to do the same. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Every single commute is a chance to reforge your brain. Replace the mindless morning radio chatter with an audiobook on negotiation. Replace the celebrity gossip podcast with a seminar on investing. You need to become obsessed with growth. I'm gonna say that again. Obsessed, not interested, not curious, not a hobby. A white-hot, burning, all-consuming obsession. You must see your mind as your single greatest asset, more valuable than any stock, any piece of real estate, any bar of gold. Because with the right mind, you can lose everything and get it all back 10 times over. But with the wrong mind, you can be handed the keys to the kingdom and you will find a way to burn it to the ground. This is why lottery winners go broke. This is why 90% of trust fund kids end up miserable and lost. They have the money, but they don't have the mind. Their container is a thimble and they've been handed an ocean. Your job is to build a container so strong, so vast, that it can hold an empire. You build it with the bricks of discipline. You build it with the mortar of knowledge. You build it by consistently, day after day, choosing the pain of growth over the comfort of entertainment. They want you to be mentally soft. They want you distracted, anxious, and fearful. A weak mind is a controllable mind. A weak mind is a poor mind. But you will forge a mind of steel, an unbreakable mind, a mind that sees opportunity where everyone else sees obstacles, a mind that sees a valuable lesson where everyone else sees a painful failure, a mind that sees limitless abundance in a world where everyone else is screaming about scarcity. This is the inside game, and it's the only game that truly matters. Win the war in your mind, and the war in your bank account becomes a simple skirmish. This is the law. Master it, or it will forever master you. So you begin this work. You start to fortify your mind. You start feeding it strength. You begin to feel a shift, a new power rising within you. But the moment you do, the world declares war on it. The moment you decide to become the master of your internal world, the external world unleashes its entire arsenal to drag you back down. It unleashes its most powerful weapon, a relentless, never-ending war for your attention. And you have to understand, your attention is the most valuable currency you own in the 21st century. Let me repeat that, because this is a truth they pray you never grasp. Not your money, not your time, your undivided, focused attention. And there is an all-out, scorched earth war for every second of it. Every corporation, every app on your phone, every news channel, every political movement is fighting a bloody high-tech battle to capture and monetize every sliver of your focus. And the rich, they are the arms dealers in this war. They built the platforms. They designed the algorithms. They are selling the weapons of mass distraction that are being used against you every single day. They understand something you don't. They know that greatness, that wealth, that mastery in any field can only be achieved through deep, prolonged, uninterrupted focus. And they have meticulously designed a world to ensure you never, ever achieve it. That phone in your pocket, the one that feels like an extension of your own hand, it's not a tool, it's a slot machine. Every notification, every buzz, every little red dot is engineered by armies of PhDs in behavioral psychology. Their entire job is to figure out how to give you a tiny addictive dopamine hit to keep you pulling the lever, to keep you swiping, to keep you hooked, to keep you scrolling into oblivion. They don't want you to have 30 minutes of uninterrupted silence. They don't want you to have 1 hour of pure deep work, because in that silence, you might have $1 billion idea. In that deep work, you might build the business that makes their business obsolete. In that focus, you might finally see the invisible bars of the cage you're living in. And they cannot have that. They cannot risk you waking up. They need you scrolling. They need you swiping. They need you enraged about the latest political drama that you have zero control over. They need you gossiping about the lives of celebrities you will never meet. They need you consuming, not creating. They need your mind fragmented into a million tiny, useless pieces, incapable of connecting the dots, incapable of building anything of value, incapable of sustaining a thought long enough to create a plan for your own damn life. Distraction is the new poverty. It is a tax that the poor and the middle class pay willingly, gleefully, every single day without ever seeing the bill. You are paying for your own enslavement with your attention. So you must declare your own sovereignty. You must build a fortress around your focus. You have to become a ruthless, merciless guardian of your attention. This means you must go to war. A war on notifications. I dare you. Go into your phone settings right now and turn off every single one. Every single one. The world can wait. Your empire cannot. This is a war on social media. Get off it. Delete the apps. If you must use it for business, then you use it like a sniper. You have a clear objective. You get in, you execute your mission, and you get out. You do not, under any circumstances, scroll the infinite feed. The feed is their algorithm's weapon to feed you a diet of mental junk food that keeps you fat, lazy, and compliant. This is a war on the news. Stop watching it. The 24/7 news cycle is not designed to inform you. It is designed to infect you with fear, with anxiety, with outrage, and with a feeling of complete powerlessness. The rich don't sit around watching the news. They are too busy making the news. You need to be too busy building your future. Let the sheep be entertained and terrified by the wolves. You are training to become a lion. You need to schedule your time like a surgeon preparing for open heart surgery. You must carve out blocks of time in your calendar, 2, 3, 4 hours where you are unreachable. A ghost, no phone, no email, no people knocking on your door, just you and your mission. This is your sacred time. This is where you will forge your future. This is where you will do the deep, meaningful work that separates the amateur from the champion. People will not understand this. Your friends will call you obsessed. Your family will say you're antisocial. Good, let them not understand. You are not building an average life, so you cannot have average habits. Their confusion is a sign that you are on the right path. Your focus is your power. You must protect it like a dragon guards its gold. The wealthy hedge fund manager isn't scrolling TikTok when he's analyzing $1 billion trade. The world-class surgeon isn't checking Facebook notifications during a brain operation. The championship athlete isn't answering texts during practice. They have built an impenetrable fortress around their focus. Why haven't you? Is your dream not as important? Is your future not worth the same level of ferocious protection? Every time you choose a cheap distraction over a valuable creation, you are casting a vote. You are casting a vote for a life of mediocrity. You are telling the universe, and more importantly, telling yourself that your momentary comfort is more important than your lifelong calling. You must be willing to be bored. You must be willing to sit in silence with your own thoughts. It is in the fertile ground of boredom that the seeds of creativity finally sprout. It is in the vast expanse of silence that the signal of your true purpose finally becomes clear. They don't want you to know this. They want you addicted to noise. They want you addicted to constant stimulation. Because an overstimulated mind is a weak mind. An unfocused mind is a broke mind. Build your fortress. Guard your attention with your life. Because it is your life. The battle for your future will be won or lost in the war for your focus. Choose your side now. And with this newfound focus, you will start to build. You will start to move. You will start to take massive, directed action. And the moment you do, the moment you step off the well-trodden path of mediocrity, you will run headfirst into the great wall they built to stop you. The most powerful psychological barrier in their entire arsenal, the fear of failure. From your very first day in school, you were taught to fear it. That red F on a test paper wasn't just a grade, it was a mark of shame. Making a mistake in front of the class meant you weren't smart. You were systematically programmed year after year to believe that the path to success is a perfect straight line of flawless execution. And that is the most crippling, most disempowering lie of all. The rich, the builders, the creators, they know the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a mandatory prerequisite. It is the non-negotiable tuition you must pay for wisdom. It is the brutal, unforgiving fire that burns away your weakness, your arrogance, and your ego. Listen to me and listen closely. The system is designed to make you terrified of failure. Why? Because a person who is afraid to fail is a person who will never take a meaningful risk. And a person who never takes a risk is a person who will always work for someone who does. They want you to play it safe. They need you to play it safe. They want you to stay in the shallow end of the pool where you can't possibly drown. They want you to color inside the lines they drew for you, because your safety, your caution, your fear of messing up is the very foundation of their empire. They take the big risks, they reap the massive rewards, and you take the steady paycheck and the orders. You have to shatter this programming. You have to perform a psychological exorcism. You have to rewire your entire relationship with the concept of failure. You must start seeing failure not as a verdict on your worth, but as data, as a lesson, as a compass, pointing you in a new direction. The poor and the middle class operate their entire lives with a play not to lose mindset. Their primary focus is protecting the little they have. Their primary goal is security and comfort. Don't lose the job. Don't risk the savings. Don't try that new business idea because it might not work. Their entire life strategy is defensive. They are playing goal line defense from the moment they are born. The rich play to win. It's a fundamentally different game. Their mindset is purely offensive. They know that to win big, you have to be willing to get hit. You have to be willing to lose some battles to win the war. Not recklessly, never recklessly, but strategically. They take calculated risks. They make intelligent bets. They launch businesses, products, and ideas. And they know with absolute certainty that many of these ventures will fail spectacularly. They don't just accept this, they expect it. It's factored into the plan. Every single successful entrepreneur you admire, every titan of industry is standing on a massive mountain of their own failures. The difference is they didn't let the failures bury them. They used the rubble of their failures as the foundation for their skyscraper of success. You must adopt this warrior mindset. You have to become a scientist in the laboratory of your own ambition. Every action you take is an experiment. If it works, you analyze why and you double down. If it fails, you analyze why, you learn the lesson, you adjust your approach, and you launch a new experiment. You do not cry, you do not complain, you do not quit. You learn, you adapt, you attack again, stronger, smarter. What's that business idea you've been sitting on for years? You're afraid it might fail. Good, that means it's worth doing. Launch it. What's that investment you're too scared to make? You're afraid you might lose money. Good, make a small calculated bet you can afford to lose. Get in the game. You need to get your reps in. You need to build your failure muscle. You need to develop calluses on your ego. The more you fail, the less it stings. The more you fail, the faster you learn. The more you fail, the closer you get to that one massive, life-altering win that will make all the losses irrelevant. They don't want you to know this because a fearless population is an uncontrollable population. A population that embraces calculated risk is a population of entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders. They are a population of lions, not a herd of sheep. Think of it like a gladiator. Does a gladiator learn to fight by reading scrolls in the library? No, he learns by sparring in the pit. He gets hit, he gets knocked down, he gets bruised and bloodied. And every single time he gets back up, he's a little stronger, a little smarter, a little more dangerous. Your failures are your sparring sessions for the championship fight for your life. So I challenge you, I dare you, go out and fail at something this week on purpose. Try something so audacious, so ambitious, that failure is a very real possibility. Pitch that client you think is out of your league. Start that YouTube channel you're terrified to launch. Ask for that promotion you don't think you deserve. And when you get rejected, when you fall flat on your face, I don't want you to feel a shred of shame. I want you to feel a surge of pride, because you are in the arena. You are covered in dust and sweat and blood. You are taking the hits. You are playing the game, while the vast majority of the world is sitting in the cheap seats, criticizing and judging, too cowardly to ever step onto the field. The rich aren't smarter than you. They've just failed more than you. They have more scars than you. They've been knocked down more times than you can count, and the only secret is this: they've gotten up one more time than they've been hit. That's the entire game. So get in the arena. And once you're in there, once you're taking hits and getting back up, you'll start to gain ground. You'll win some battles, you'll build some momentum, but eventually you'll hit a wall. You'll realize that your own energy, your own 24 hours in a day are not enough. You'll be working harder than ever, but your growth will flatline. And that's when you must understand the final, most powerful secret of all, the one that shatters the ceiling of what's possible. You must escape the final lie, the most romantic, heroic sounding, and utterly destructive lie you've ever been told. The myth of the self-made man. It's a beautiful story, isn't it? The lone wolf, the rugged individualist, the solitary genius who pulled himself up by his own bootstraps and built an empire all by himself. And it is a complete, total, and utter fraud. It's a trap, a clever trap designed to keep you small. It's a story that glorifies burnout and celebrates inefficiency. Why do they promote this myth? Because as long as you believe you have to do everything yourself, you will forever be limited by the brutal, unchangeable mathematics of your own time and your own energy. You will always be the bottleneck in your own success. You will be a hamster running on a wheel, even if it's a golden wheel that you built yourself. The wealthiest people on this planet are not the hardest workers. They are the greatest leveragers. They understand a principle of physics and have applied it to economics. True scale, true power comes from applying a small amount of force to a very long lever. And that lever is other people's resources. Let that sink in. This isn't about being a user or a parasite. This is about being a genius. It's about being an architect instead of a bricklayer. It's about understanding that you can achieve infinitely more by building systems and leading teams than you can by simply working harder and harder yourself. You must leverage everything. First, you leverage other people's time, APT. The moment you hire your first employee, your first virtual assistant, your first contractor, you have fundamentally broken the chains of your own time. You have become a time buyer. If you pay someone $20 an hour to do a task that would take you an hour, and you can use that reclaimed hour to do a $200 an hour task, you haven't spent $20. You've made a $180 profit. The poor think only in terms of expenses. The rich think only in terms of investment. You must wage a holy war on the $10 an hour tasks in your life and your business. The administrative work, the repetitive emails, the tasks that drain your energy but produce little value. Automate them, delegate them, or delete them entirely. Your precious finite time must be spent only on the tasks that generate the highest value and move the needle on your grandest ambitions. They want you to be a jack of all trades, a master of none, perpetually busy but never truly productive. Second, you leverage other people's money, OPM. From childhood, the poor are taught that all debt is evil. Save up until you can afford it, they whisper. This is a slave's mentality, designed to keep you slow and small. The rich understand that there is good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is the high-interest credit card you use to buy a depreciating asset like a TV. That is a chain. Good debt is the business loan you take out to buy a machine that increases your production tenfold. It's the mortgage you get to buy a cash-flowing rental property that your tenant's rent pays off for you. It's the capital you raise from intelligent investors to scale a business that has proven its model. The rich use debt as a lever, as a financial crowbar, to multiply their returns and accelerate their growth at a speed that is mathematically impossible using your own capital alone. They want you to be terrified of debt, so you save your little pennies in a bank account that pays you 0.1% interest. Meanwhile, the bank loans out your money to a rich person at 5%, who then uses it to make a 20% return. You are literally funding their success with your fear. Third, you leverage other people's knowledge, OPK. You do not have to be the smartest person in the room. In fact, if you are in the wrong damn room. The rich surround themselves with people who are smarter and more skilled than they are in specific areas. They build a personal board of directors. They have brilliant lawyers, genius accountants, aggressive marketers, and wise mentors. They pay tens of thousands of dollars to be in masterminds with other high-level players. They understand that paying $10,000 to an expert to avoid a $100,000 mistake is the biggest bargain in the world. The poor, trapped in the self-made myth, try to do everything themselves to save money. They YouTube their way through legal contracts. They file their own complex taxes. They try to be their own marketer, salesman, and CEO, and they make 1,000 amateur, costly mistakes that keep them trapped in the minor leagues forever. Stop being a lone wolf. Start being the leader of a wolf pack. Your network is your net worth. Build it obsessively. Provide massive value to others first. Connect with people who are playing the game at a level that scares you. One conversation, one idea, one introduction from the right person can save you a decade of struggle. The myth of the self-made man is a cage. It keeps you isolated. It keeps you overwhelmed. It keeps you small. True wealth is a team sport. Your job is not to be the star player who has to do everything. Your job is to be the owner of the team, the architect of the system, the conductor of the orchestra. Stop asking, how can I do this? And start asking the high-level question, who can do this for me? Or what system can I build so this gets done perfectly every time? This is the final shift in consciousness. It's the move from being a soldier in the trenches to being the general on the hill, directing the entire battle. From being a player on the field to being the owner in the skybox. They don't want you to know this, because if you start building teams, if you start raising capital, if you start leveraging the talent and wisdom of others, you become a threat. You are no longer just a cog in their machine. You are building your own machine, and your machine might just be better than theirs. Your war begins now. So there it is, the code, the blueprint, the unspoken constitution of the wealthy. It's not a list to be memorized. It's a philosophy to be embodied. First, you must understand the game. You stop trading your life for money, and you command your money to go out and fight for you, to build your freedom while you sleep. But to do that, you must first win the war within. You must forge an unbreakable mind, a mindset of abundance and power, and become the ruthless gatekeeper of your own thoughts. And as you build that internal fortress, you must build an external one around your focus, protecting your attention from the ceaseless, addictive distractions designed to keep you weak and unproductive. With that focus, you will step into the arena, you will take action, and you will embrace failure not as an end, but as a teacher, as fuel, as the necessary pain that precedes all victory. You will play to win, while the world plays not to lose. And finally, you will shed the ego-driven lie of the self-made man. You will become a master of leverage, multiplying your power by building systems and leading others, leveraging their time, their money, and their knowledge to build something far greater than you could ever build alone. This isn't just a collection of ideas. This is a battle plan. This is the code that they live by, the truths they whisper among themselves in their boardrooms and at their country clubs while they feed you the public curriculum of work hard, save your money, and hope for the best. Hope is not a strategy. It is a beggar's plea. I've given you the map. I have shined a harsh, unforgiving light on the path, but I cannot walk it for you. Your legs must do the walking. Your heart must find the courage. Your hands must do the brutal, relentless work. This is not going to be easy. Let me be clear. The next phase of your life will be the hardest thing you have ever done. It will require sacrifice. You're going to have to let go of old friends who are anchors to your mediocrity. You're going to have to kill the cheap comforts and the easy distractions that have kept you sedated for years. You're going to have to wake up early and stay up late. You're going to have to face the ugliest parts of yourself in the mirror and conquer them. There will be pain. There will be struggle. There will be dark days where you question everything and want to quit. But I ask you this, what is the alternative? Another 10, 20, 40 years of this quiet desperation, this feeling of being a passenger in your own life, this slow, painful death of watching your dreams fade like a photograph left out in the sun? Listen to me. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Choose your hard. The game has been rigged against you, but now you know the rules. You can use their own rules against them. You can stop being a piece on the board and start being the player who is moving the pieces. This video is about to end. The music will fade, the screen will go black, and you have a choice. You can let the temporary rush of motivation you feel right now fade like every other time. You can close this window and go back to your life, and by tomorrow morning, absolutely nothing will have changed. Or you can make a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision that you burn into the fabric of your soul. A decision that echoes in every cell of your being. A decision that says, with fire and conviction, enough is enough. Take one of these truths, just one, and take one single physical action on it right now. Before you do anything else, go turn off your phone's notifications, go write down your freedom number and tape it to your wall, go buy that book you know you need to read, go make that uncomfortable call you've been avoiding, take the first difficult step, because the journey to an empire, the path to your own personal legend, begins with a single violent act of rebellion against your own mediocrity. They don't want you to win. They are betting on you to fail. They are betting on you to stay exactly where you are, compliant, distracted, and afraid. Prove them wrong. The work starts now.